Watopian Weekly. You should listen to it every week because I'm gonna listen to it. Yay!
Welcome to Watopian Weekly, Season 4, Episode 13, the podcast for Zwifters, cyclists, and everyone else. Each week we are here to discuss all things Zwift, life, and beyond. My name is Dustin, and with me we have, ladies and gentlemen, the captain of Coalition Cypher, the dude that races for Maca, which I'm pretty sure is a T, isn't that right, Josh?
Yeah, it might be matcha.
Yeah. Matcha, that's right, that makes more sense. And even though he's more of a coffee guy, which we covered in the last episode, and it's a guy so confident that he fits 45 centimeter tires in his chainstays, and that's not a euphemism for anything, I don't think. Oh man, maybe we should edit that out. Anyway, here he is, Josh! Woo! Josh, how you doing?
Doing well. My tires are not.
We're going to talk, we should talk about that, but well, you'll have to post a picture of that because that is really, really close. But hey, living on the edge, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, today we are lucky to have the nutritionist from the Skratch Labs. They're here to answer all of our questions about hydration, fueling. And is it really true that do you hydrate or dehydrate? I don't know. We're going to find that out. I've heard that. But, or what's the best flavor? Isn't water enough? Well, we're going to find out today. And welcome, Hilary and Taylor. Woo! Hilary and Taylor, welcome. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Super excited.
Yes. Oh, good. All right. Well, and we know that you guys are Zwifters as well, and so this is fantastic. Now you have a new Zwift favorite podcast, right? Because you're on it. This is gonna be great. So,
yeah, there was a deep dive into your podcast once you guys.
Oh man, this is great. So this is awesome. I'm excited because well, we're going to talk about it anyway. But I like using Skratch. We're not sponsored by Skratch, but we're definitely open to being sponsored by Skratch. So we can talk about that later. Send over anything you want me to sign. But we love this. And I reached out to you guys earlier or a while ago about coming on the podcast because we were talking. We've had questions from listeners about that too, and about why we should be doing electrolyte things and stuff like that too. So anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. As our listeners often know, we usually start with a weekly catch-up. So Hilary, what have you been up to this week?
Yeah, me and Taylor are prepping for Sea Otter. We're both sports performance dietitians and we have pretty busy schedules. Like we have our own Skratch sponsored athletes, along with working with individuals like yourself that reach out, have nutrition questions on top of helping out with events. So we are now hitting prime season. So Sea Otters next week. So that's a big lift for us.
Wow.
And that's in Monterey, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is that the one that goes around the Laguna Seca and everything too? That's or that no. Yeah, the racetrack that's out there.
Yeah. Taylor is originally from California. She would know the area better than me for sure.
and
so, racetrack, or it's loops. It's a loop race.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you guys racing that then, or are you?
We do have some athletes that are racing, but we're also like there as an expo, like selling Skratch, helping people out, answering questions for sure.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
helping athletes, cooking meals, all the stuff.
That's awesome. And then, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. So that sounds great, Hilary. That sounds great. All right, Taylor, what have you been up to?
Like Hilary said, we're just prepping for Sea Otter. I've been trying to get out on the bike as much as I can out here. We're based in Colorado. We had some great weather last week, and like typical Colorado weather, you never know what you're going to expect. And I'm looking at flurries outside my window right now. So probably will be hopping on the trainer later this evening.
Yeah. My sister lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, and she sent me a picture of just all the snow on the ground, and like it was super nice there just the other day. So
it was like 75 degrees, sunny. I was able to ride in like a summer kit last Thursday.
Oh, man.
yesterday I was in gloves and full knee warmers.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. Well, good for you for actually going out. I would have just stayed in and done Zwift.
Yeah, you're braver. You're braver than I.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And well, Josh, what have you been up to?
Yeah,
I
a
know a
couple
little bit of what you've been up to.
Yeah, a couple races this week. DRS didn't go well as predicted because racing against a lot better people. But yeah, we could get into that a little bit later. But it was a rough go. 3.6 watts per kilo was good enough for like fifth from last.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, a lot of good competition in that division.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. And you're still smiling though. So that was
yeah. I mean, it's always good camaraderie and
absolutely.
Yeah, there's always someone better than you, so no big deal.
That's true. The race that we did, we're recording this on a Thursday, and we did DRS last night, where it was 2 back-to-back races, and they were very, very hard. Yes, and I did the same thing. The first one was basically an FTP test, and I just went as hard as I could, which really wasn't a good idea. But I got 9th, I guess. I don't know, but I don't need to brag. It's hard not to. But
you got to brag when you get good finishes.
I know. And then well, we could talk about that some more. We should get on to our main talking points, because we should talk about Skratch. Now, Skratch, I remember the first time I got it was like a sample pack, and I put it in my drinks, and I was like, oh, I'll just give it a try, see what's going on, because I've had other nutrition things before, and nothing has ever really worked for me. And then lo and behold, Skratch came along. It finally made sense. It didn't. It was clear. It wasn't like one of those things that made me. Well, first off, it didn't make me sick on the bike, or like too much gut rot or something. I guess is that the technical term for that?
Does not taste horrible.
Yeah. Right. So, and then ever since then, it's been like the past 3 years. I think I've been hooked on this, and so I reached out to you guys, and I really wanted to talk about this because there's lots of people that would say that. Okay, that you're riding inside, like that Skratch or any other hydration mix is really expensive. Why would you waste it when you're riding on the trainer? But at the same time, you're still exercising. It's still hard, right? I mean, so I don't know. I think it's I use it all the time. But anyway, we should go in order or something. We have a lot of questions from our listeners. We have questions from us, and we'll be jumping around a little bit too. I know it's I'm still buzzing from my caffeine, but that's okay. So Hilary and Taylor, why don't you talk a little bit about maybe the history of Skratch, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So Skratch was founded in 2012 by 2 cycling pros based out of Boulder, Colorado. One of our founders, Alan Lim, had been working on the pro tour and just saw that athletes were experiencing that gut rot that you were talking about. There was he noticed that a lot of the products that were available to the athletes had some of the basics that they needed, but also had other additives that maybe weren't doing them any benefit. So he set out to create a product that allowed the athletes to bust their butt, not their gut. And that's something that we say a lot here at Skratch, is something that allows them to perform better without offending their taste buds, without offending their gut. So we really kind of focus on the simple, easy to recognize ingredients that like we can recognize by reading a label, but also your body will recognize as well. So using real food, real ingredients. We don't use any artificial sweeteners, colors, or dyes in the product, and that we've found has been really beneficial for the athletes. So everything has been formulated and made and sourced really intentionally to allow athletes to perform at their best.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I have my tub of Skratch right here, actually, with the cat out of the bag thing. Oh, it's all, you can't see it, but it's got the cat sticker on there too. Which that's so funny. But and the cat's out of the bag.
It is nice too to have something that actually tastes good too, because a lot of these products, they help with hydration and not bonking and whatnot, but they don't often taste good.
Yeah, they're overly super sweet or salty, and then it makes you not drink as much because there's just like too much flavor, or the exact opposite of like no flavor and you also aren't wanting to drink it. So it's that good balance of not overly sweet, not overly salty, that sweet spot in between.
Yeah, that's for sure. And how did you two get into or hooked up with Skratch?
Yeah, so being just as a sports dietitian, right, you slowly kind of see these products of like, what are my athletes asking for? What am I looking for as a dietitian of like limited ingredients, like real food, and that like balance of what an athlete is looking for and what as a dietitian is looking for. And so I actually stumbled upon Skratch in 20, oh man, it had to have been like 2014, and like never looked back. Like the people, what they stand for, the group as individuals. So as just a sports dietitian, I was asking them for Skratch and providing it to my collegiate athletes, and then through Team USA, and never looked back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool. And how about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I have been a cyclist for probably close to 10 years now at this point, and really kind of always appreciated the product itself. I used it when I lived in California, and then when I made my way out here to Boulder, Colorado in 2021, I just kind of really doubled down on it, knowing that it was a local product that sat really well with me. I really appreciated their like the marketing of it too. I think it's a brand that you can really resonate really closely with. They have a great sense of humor. And so started because they're local, was really able to kind of see them at events, and then had the opportunity to kind of join the team. And that was probably the best decision ever made. So it's really fun to now be able to work with a company and that really just aligns really well with your values and your goals, and really doubles down on like the education side and working with athletes to empower them to kind of make their own decisions and do their own research on what works best for them, and really being that level of support and hospitality that I think Skratch embodies.
Yeah, that's awesome. And speaking of a of a really good sense of humor, on April
good
1st.
good segue.
Yeah, that was a great segue. I mean, yeah, you set me up to knock him down. So on April 1st, if you do get the Skratch Labs emails like I do, they they sent out the newest product, which I can't wait to try, the Marathon, and this is. I loved it. I was when people just say LOL, I was actually LOLing. I think that means laughed out loud, or does it live out loud? Either way, I was doing both, and it was so funny. And so we have some questions from our listeners about that specific thing. Which were these workers that you guys know, or did you guys have to bring in
Absolutely.
models? Oh,
Oh, these are anything that you see Skratch Lab, they are true. Like that's us. It's whatever job may be, and you agree to do it. Like our team is so fun. They are always down. And we really pride ourselves on April Fools. Like we will
yeah.
always go ham. So like we start planning next year, April Fools, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, props to that guy too. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you email our customer support team at info@skratchlabs.com, there's a good chance you'll be talking to our model for the marathon.
oh
Pretty
my gosh.
hilarious.
That's awesome. So yeah, and so I don't know if some people didn't think that this was. So I mean, there was a very serious follow up question that I don't know if someone was just like trolling me or whatever, but like who was the target demographic for the marathon? And yeah, I don't know. They got to be joking,
isn't
right?
the
Anyway,
current demographic
yeah,
for the marathon. Like who wouldn't want to like
yeah,
sit out, see if it's worth it? You never know. It could be that
exactly,
seconds that get you on the podium. So
right,
it's great.
Yeah,
yeah.
wear that in your prime for a podium position.
I think so. Yeah, I guess I would give it a try. I don't really run, but I would give it a try. When you're mountain biking, there's a lot of people that wear a hip pack, so why not like a nice
I feel it
yeah.
would be a good reminder to keep drinking. Like you're not gonna forget to drink if
Yeah.
you got that on. You're just gonna know.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. All right, so then yeah, and also, I read this somewhere, I can't really remember, but when I drink Skratch, is it because I get an appropriate hypersomatic trigger for thirst? Is that true?
That is actually real because your body is like working, right? And you're actively
Yeah.
sweating, which is like comes to that point of like, oh, I'm on a trainer, I'm indoors, I don't need to like drink salt and hydrate. And like exactly opposite. If you are actively sweating, your body is going to try to compensate with that by telling you to drink. And that's one of the main things that Skratch also uses as well is drink to thirst. That is
Mhm.
what you're trying to get your body to be conscious of and continue to keep doing. Of course, we have numbers. Of course, we have the science to back that up.
Yeah.
But a lot of time, we're all so individual that thirst is really helpful for you because also your sweat rate changes. Your sodium concentration won't change, but your sweat rate does. And so that thirst mechanism can help kind of counterbalance depending on how sweaty you are.
Yeah.
And how,
Okay.
how about for folks who are like just kind of starting to get into their fitness journey and you know just starting to do longer rides and whatnot? What's your typical recommended frequency to consume, like whether it's hydration mix or like chews, volume and timing?
So our combo of like carbohydrate and hydration, it's kind of, Taylor can get into this as well. I'll jump in too. So hydration and carbohydrate are two different things of like fueling wise. So we talk about fuel and we talk about hydration. Skratch tries to make it easy so that you can combine both with some of our products. So kind of a general rule of thumb for those kind of starting out, maybe you have an hour-long ride, you're looking for like 3 to 5 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight. And as we've worked with athletes and professional athletes, that continues to grow, whether that's 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight. The more efficient you get, the longer your ride, you start to bulk that up to 60 to 90 grams per kilogram of body weight. And we're seeing athletes now that are surpassing 100, 120
Wow.
grams per kilogram of body weight. So like starting out slow, just like having a half a bag of chews to start out with on your hour-long ride. And if that's not enough, that's when you have the whole bag or that combo of hydration where you're getting carbohydrates in and hydration in your bottle. So just starting out small and listening to your body. Is my gut feeling good? Am I feeling fueled? Am I continuing to drink? So just listening to your body for carbohydrate. And then Taylor, I'll let you take away with sodium.
Yeah, and I know you were mentioning per kilogram of body weight, but it's actually per hour. So 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour with like a total intake is usually like the it's a larger range. It's like 3 to 12 grams of carbohydrate daily per kilogram of body weight. But when we're thinking of carbs per hour, I think a general rule of thumb for athletes that are kind of just starting out is 30 to 60 is the sweet spot. Our body knows how to process that many grams of carbs per hour. And then for the athletes that are increasing their intensity and their duration, we definitely get to that 60 to 90. And then for the athletes that are elite, high level, doing 7+ hour efforts, those are where we kind of see those numbers bump up a little bit higher. So Skratch is great. Pack of chews, a scoop of Skratch product is awesome for those instances. And a great thing is that the trainer rides, the Zwift rides that we're doing, great opportunity to just test that out. See that sits really well with your body at those intensities without thinking that you're in the middle of nowhere trying to get back home, being like, oh no, my tummy doesn't feel good. I went way too hard. So it's nice to be like on your trainer with a fan and bottle right next to you to be able to kind of put that stuff into practice.
Couch nearby, always a good plan.
Yeah.
No code Browns while at home. Just
Yeah.
That is an
Very good
excellent point. I cannot believe that I didn't even think about that. I'm just feeling like a dummy here. I'm sorry, because I would always like get everything, like I'm going out for a training ride and go out and then test this stuff. Like these are the things we learn. All right. That's a much better idea to do like 2 hours on the trainer because you're so close by. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then in terms of sodium, I would say like, again, the trainer's the perfect time to test it out. With being inside on the trainer, we're going to have a higher sweat rate, sweat volume loss. We're going to be sweatier. We definitely can have that fan to help cool us off, but regardless, we're going to be losing sweat. I'm sure some of us see that pool of sweat that's at the bottom of our wheels all the time. And so when we are sweating, it's definitely important to not just replace with water. We want to replace with electrolytes as well, because our sweat is not just water. It also has key electrolytes, sodium being the one that's the most important and the most detrimental to our performance when we don't adequately replace it.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Very
wow.
cool. Yeah, like I like the technical aspects behind this too. I mean, my struggle has always been trying to not necessarily remember. I typically remember, but just trying to throw down that many carbs per hour does take a little bit of practice. So probably, as you said, probably does serve to get that practice in on the trainer, not outside.
Yeah. Josh, I know that there's one thing I've been using lately has been the on my Garmin it says remember to drink, remember to eat. Is there, and you said everybody's different. There's no like set thing like every 10 minutes we should be drinking, or is there? I guess it depends, right? A lot on the weather and everything.
Totally depends. We were actually, my brain is on like daily calories from yesterday and like working with all our athletes today. So I'm like, woo, just with you. I should have done the Dr. Pepper, man. Should have went.
Yeah.
But
So
we
good.
always try to tell athletes, you always want to start out strong. So if you can start out at the like almost like at the top of the hour to try to get a little bit more in, that's great.
Okay.
But if it's honestly so individual, if it's just better for your stomach, if it's better for your brain to just like consistently go, great.
Okay.
If you can kind of get a little bit more in at the start of like the hour or the start of your training, that's always going to be better. So you can kind of front load and then kind of take that smaller amount as you go along the way. It's only
Okay.
going to help you out more.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think especially if you're like doing outdoor rides, if you're on that group ride and someone at the front decides to attack, and as they're attacking, your Garmin's going off, being like, "It's time to eat." You're not going to reach
Yeah.
back for your
No.
pack of shoes. So trying to front load and be intentional on what works best for you, playing around, knowing what that ride's going to be looking like, knowing what the terrain is going to be looking like, and just planning accordingly. We have athletes that take all of it in one sip or one like quick
Yeah.
hug or chew in their body, and then they or there's others that really benefit from taking it every 15 minutes or so, like that slower drip.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
So I think
go
the
ahead.
underlying theme is take it before you blow up.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah. I would definitely say that I've been ever since I've been using Skratch Inside, like I can do much longer rides than I normally could. And these training sessions, I've been doing a lot of hard training sessions. Again, not trying to brag, but last night I did like a whole hour and 15 minutes. That was crazy. That's a lot for me. And it was I had Skratch with me as well, just because I feel like it helped me. I'm not as tired afterward too. Is there a reason why that is? I mean, maybe I'm not going as hard. That's possible, but is there something with that, or is it just the recovery is faster because we have the electrolytes that we're losing? Is that maybe you can talk about that, or how about how what's the best way to recover? Should we be using electrolytes as well in the recovery phase too? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the reasons why you're noticing that you're not as kind of gassed at the end or feeling that you still have the energy is because you were able to fuel yourself properly. So your body wasn't pulling from its stores as much as it may have if you weren't fueling. So you'll be able to feel better, which allows you to then maybe make better decisions to recover better, which then will allow you. It's a great positive feedback cycle. And then when we do think about recovery, especially if we're in like larger training blocks where we're doing workouts day after day after day, it can be really beneficial within 30 minutes to an hour after our workout to really focus on something that has a little bit of carbohydrate, has a little bit of protein, and has a little bit of fluid with electrolytes in there. Because no matter how on top of our fueling we may be, if we're like nailing that 60 grams of carbs per hour, there's still a chance that we are depleting our stores at a different rate. And so we need to replenish those stores with some type of carb to repair our glycogen, replenish our glycogen stores, some protein to start repairing those muscles that we just tore during the workout, and then some type of fluid to help rehydrate us with the electrolytes as well.
Wow.
we like to call that now it's like the 5 R's, the refuel, recover, what is it? Rest, force, and rehydrate.
Yeah, force, rehydrate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that I know we had a question here about like minimum time, and I know the underlying theme here has been everyone's unique, everyone's different, but do you guys have like a recommended, hey, this timing of activity you should start thinking about hydration, either a hydration mix or like gels, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour? Or is it always good at all times?
I mean, if you are in a big training block, like you're doing constant rides, you're training for something big, I would say it's always beneficial to fuel every ride that you can. But for kind of a typical rule of thumb is anything over an hour definitely should be taking in some type of carbohydrate and electrolyte mix. And then if it is under an hour, then like the fueling around your activity is just as, if not more important, if you're not going to be fueling during.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, and then excuse me, sorry, talking about fueling is should we I guess what's your recommendations on solids versus just having stuff in our bottles? I mean, they and we I want to talk about carbs too, but let's start with that though. What about just? I mean, should we be mixing in solid food, real food? I mean, Skratch has lots of great stuff too. I haven't had a bar I didn't like yet, but there's lots of those things. So, how should we be mixing it? I mean, I guess everyone's different. Is that the answer? Yeah.
Isn't it always the
Yeah,
answer?
you're
Like we're always
getting it,
gonna
Dawson.
we're always gonna say if you can get something solid in 100%, because real food is real food. Like you just
Okay.
absorb it better. Like it tends to make me a happier person when it's like a real
Mm,
meal or a real snack, like goldfish or
yeah.
life. So like that is real science on your gut and that. And so if you can take solid food in, absolutely take it as a choice. But like there is a reason that we have liquids to help those athletes, because you maybe aren't an Olympic athlete, but like that tum tum still has issues. So like if you
Mm,
only can get liquid in, great, only liquid in, but absolutely a combo of that. And then the same thing when it comes to depending on the time. Like if
mm,
you're in like an ultra runner or you're like ultra cyclist, like you're going to need a little bit of mixed fuel, that carbohydrate, a little bit of protein, maybe a little bit of fat, depending on that intensity level, just because you start to burn a bunch of different things and you need to be pulling from different sources. When you're just on like an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour rides, like carbs is going to be your main source. It's going to be the source during the whole time. So just focusing on that.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, and then have you? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. You both have. Have you guys seen an increase? I mean, it seems like it used to be like we would talk about. I mean, I'm old enough that I would go out for rides without eating anything or anything beforehand. Go out and do all these fasted rides, which are just not necessarily. I guess the science is there that we know not to do that, right? Is that, but or it's just not a great idea. But it gets done. And what about the carbs have gone up and up and up, I think. Haven't they? Can you guys speak to why we didn't have that before? It was just the science not there, or what is that?
I I think it's like a combo of like
Okay.
also like we've hit a point in nutrition where we've learned a lot. We went from like knowing almost nothing to learning something to like changing that because we tried a different direction and then we're back up to something else. So I
Hmm.
think it's just like the science over time has
Okay.
done that too, and just being able to research athletes now. Taylor might be able to speak to that too, but I think it's just the research has gone. We've hit
Okay.
those waves of something new. And I will say with Skratch and like our philosophy too is that we don't hit the trends. Like we are going to do the hard true science and not take
Hmm.
those fads, because we're here for the long run, and we want that true science, not those crazy fads that we see all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of like the nice reminders that always kind of comes back to me is that nutrition as a science and as it's being studied is very new. I mean,
Hmm.
the all of the vitamins and minerals and like what their role wasn't discovered until like 1910, 1920. So it's
Hmm.
still in comparison to like biology and chemistry and these like older sciences. Nutrition science is a very new subject. So there's a constant growth, constant new things coming out. And so I think as we're doing that, we're kind of finding those foundational pieces that are really making the difference, but there's always going to be kind of something new. And then I think the fact that it also is so individualized can make it's great because you have all of these little case studies of like this kind of diet and routine worked best for me, but that may not be applicable to someone else. And so trying to really kind of take that with a grain of salt as well. And so really just kind of being aware, and that's kind of what we do and we're trained in, is kind of understanding the research and the science and then trying to apply it or educate our athletes to be able to then put it into practice for themselves to see what works and what doesn't, and not necessarily sticking to like a strict plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really pushed the frontier on the pro athlete circuit. It's been pretty exciting to see like what these pro athletes can do now just with a bit of nutrition
Right.
Yeah.
education.
Yeah. So much
Yeah.
more
That.
focus on it. It used to be bike parts and development of bikes and all of
Mhm.
this sort of stuff, and then like clothing on top of it. And we like hit that nutrition and like what's the next new nutrition thing that all these riders gonna try out.
Yeah, you can only shave off so many grams from your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. And then yeah, it seems like I mean for pro tour riders and stuff like that, I mean they're ingesting so many calories and carbs and everything like every 18 minutes or something. I think I heard something like that. I don't know that, you know what they say, 70% of all statistics are made up. So I'm not really sure if that was what it was. But I don't know, Josh, you work in statistics, you probably know. Is that true? Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm sure. I'm sure. It is.
But so can you talk to us about how you guys research products, and how do you decide to bring something, and not only just a flavor like you know, my favorite's orange, but yeah, we talked about that, Taylor, but but like do you have market research? Maybe we should talk about flavors first. Like what is, do you guys just say like, you know, we would really be good maca tea? Did I say that right, Josh? Macha? Chai tea? I don't know. Is turmeric going to be the next big flavor? You know, how do you guys find out about that? That turmeric would be good. No, not really. Oh,
AC
no,
on the bike, maybe.
yeah.
Little savory option. Yeah, I think with like products, we always do take feedback really seriously. So just know that if you do email to Skratch Labs or kind of reach out to us, we do take that feedback and make sure to kind of compile it, because it really is, that's what drives a lot of what our innovation is what are people being asking for, and then we kind of look into what is truly feasible from a product perspective that stays within our guidelines of what we choose for products. So again, all of our products are made using real fruit concentrate and juices. We don't use anything artificial. And so really trying to find that balance between, okay, how do we make this really great flavorful option that is going to taste good, but then also perform well just from like a shelf stability standpoint. And so we've definitely over the years have had those products that we'll put them in market. We see that they're working really well, or we see that they may not be working really well. I don't know if you've seen or experienced, sometimes there'll be some clumping in products if there's a little bit of hydration that gets in there. And that kind of just happens because the products, we don't use any kind of artificial preservatives or anything like that. So it really is just a testament to the true ingredients that we use in our products. So a lot of feedback's taken into account, and then a lot of trial and error and love and sweat and tears that goes into creating the product as well before it even like reaches customers' hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it takes a long time before we actually give a flavor to the public or a new item or thing like that. So it takes some time.
Yeah.
Well,
Dustin, turmeric is next April Fool's worthy flavor.
you can use my face on it.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'll send it to you. I've got some glossies I can send to you. But so then, what about? Can you give us some ideas of some that have some just absolute miss flavors? You have anything that's anything you can remember off the top of your head?
Yeah.
I know that there was, we've also, this kind of as speaks to the differences in like production scale. Like obviously a lot of things can work really well in like small scale, but when you mass produce it, there's other things that can happen. So we were just told about a product, there was a pomegranate flavor, and like pomegranate tasted stellar in like smaller batches. But the second that it was like made to the scale of like what our consumer base was, it just had this off flavor. It did not taste good. It did not perform well. And so
the off flavor was like turkey sandwich.
yeah. And so like, I don't know about you. I know we all like to switch up the sweet and savory, but I don't think a turkey sandwich in my bottle would be very good. Or just seeing like certain products. We used to make a grape hydration flavor, and we found that was one that just would over time like harden a little bit. Like the grape flavoring that we had used, because it was like true grape, just would cause it to harden. We did do a revamp, and we've now transitioned to grape chews, and those are performing really well. They taste really well. They don't taste like that artificial grape Jolly Rancher flavor. They do taste like true grape jelly. So definitely ways to like move it to a different product line or innovate in different ways.
Is the Skratch Orange the most popular flavor?
The hydration or the...
Well, either. What's the most popular flavor of each?
It kind of depends on the team. Like a lot of our like team athletes are big orange fans, big like strong flavor, like the strawberry lemonade, like that. But a lot of our like more endurance cyclists, runners kind of stick that tried and true lemon lime. Really depends kind of on the sport.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is interesting. There, yeah, because I mean, you remember Gatorade? I mean, we're not talking about Gatorade, but Gatorade that first came out as like lemon lime or like I don't know. It always tastes like cough syrup to me. So, but now they have other flavors too.
Yeah, not my favorite, but
yeah, lemon lime.
Yeah,
True. That's interesting.
it's probably super interesting in your field to kind of try to have to adapt some of those things. It sounds like a lot of interesting research and movement goes on behind the scenes for making small batches versus large quantity stuff. Yeah, so sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then who got stuck with all the bad turkey sandwich hydration mix?
Yeah, let's there's got to be some bag somewhere on a shelf.
the guy he's got it stuffed in his marathon. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Absolute legend. That is so, I love that. Anyway, okay, then what about for, are all your products made there in Colorado, or how does that work? Is it from all over the world that they come in, or how do you do that, I guess?
We definitely prioritize producing locally as much as we can, but there's definitely parts where manufacturing needs to take place elsewhere. But most of it is US based.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then, and yeah, I know the chews here that I was looking at the website earlier. I saw the new chews there. I used to work in a gummy bear factory, and I know we can talk a lot about this, and I've mentioned this before, but it just brings me back. Oh man, all those gummy bears and what those poor little bears went through. But anyway, yeah, I remember all that. Anyway, so now I have a question about filling a bottle. Maybe this is just silly. I feel like, okay, what's the best way to add Skratch powder to a bottle? Is it with a full water bottle, full of water, and then you pour the Skratch in and then mix it up? Or is it, do you put it in the bottom, then mix it up? And or do you guys have varying?
What is the proper order of operations?
Yes.
It depends on the product. I mean, our great sport drink mix, like the orange fruit punch, strawberry lemonade, lemon lime, raspberry limeade. I'm a water first, then like the cereal. I guess it's not really the cereal before the milk, but it's it's the water and then the mix, because it dissolves really quickly because it's cane sugar, it's simple carbohydrates, it's going to mix really well. If you're someone that's a fan of our high carb drink mix, that is one where I will do a little bit of water. So I fill up my bottle maybe a third of the way. I then add however many scoops of our high carb drink mix that I want. I close the lid. I shake it like no other, to just start that emulsification, that hydration of the carbohydrate in there, because it is a complex carbohydrate. And then I fill the rest up with water after it's had a chance to start disintegrating. There have been way too many times that I've added my water and then I try and add the scoops of high carb, and it is a lot of fluid. It's a lot of powder. And then once you start mixing, that powder will start to kind of gel. And if it starts gelling without enough water, it will stick to your spout of your
Well, the answer I was not expecting.
Yeah,
was
I'm glad I asked.
It depends on the flavor and type.
Yeah,
that's super interesting. Not what I was expecting to hear at all.
Yeah. Well, and Hilary, how are you feeling? You about the same, or?
Yeah, the same. And I'm always have a Nalgene. So the other key is, if you, worst case scenario, put in the Nalgene, shake the Nalgene just like Taylor said, and then exactly, and then pour it into your bottle or your flask, whatever that may be, if you want to make it into a gel or anything like that.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm glad I asked, because I think I've been doing it right.
You learned something new today.
Yeah.
Never have to worry ever again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so then I know we're getting close on time here, but I have a couple more questions and everything. But what about how about some personal things? What's your favorite Skratch product? Your absolute favorite, either flavor or product or something that you use a lot? Or, I mean, I know you've talked about some of these things, but whomever wants to go first. Yeah.
Joy might kill me for this, but my forever favorite will be the Skratch rice cakes, RIP. I love them. But for a product that is around, I'm definitely partial to the hot apple cider, because I do on cold rides. I love that. Camping, heat it up next to a fire, add a little bit of whiskey to it. I love it so much. So you're hydrating as well. So top tier flavor for me.
Yeah. Man. All right. Okay, cool. All right. How about you, Taylor?
Yeah, the apple cider is definitely a top one in the winter when it's cold here in Colorado. It's
Ah,
a nice way to just like warm up either on a ride or before or after a ride. But I think my favorite, my tried and true product that I love and have way too many bags of is the strawberry lemonade. That's my favorite flavor. I know, Dustin, you said you're a fan of the
yeah.
orange. The
Yep.
orange is also one that like it's not my first go-to, but every time I have it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so refreshing. This is like a great flavor. So always like to sprinkle some orange in, but yeah, strawberry lemonade I think is my go-to.
Has there been consideration for a stroop waffle? I know Gina, who is
Yeah.
often on our podcast,
Yeah.
is Dutch, so I would be remiss if I didn't ask about stroop waffle.
Yes. A scratch stroop waffle. A scratch waffle. Oh my gosh. There you go. There I even give you a title for it.
Recovery flavor. That would be an interesting recovery flavor.
Recovery. Oh man, that would be. And just chunks of
Little
chunks of waffle in there.
Float.
Oh man. All right. And then we also on the website there on skratchlabs.com, which everyone should go to, SKRATCH labs.com, which I'll definitely put a link in there. Is the Feed Zone Portables book. And could we maybe talk a little bit about that, if that's okay? I know I got into that because a friend of mine recommended it to me. And you've got the Feed Zone Portables, we've got the Feed Zone Cookbook and the Feed Zone Table on there, and maybe you can tell people about what they're about and how best to use it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So those three books were written by one of our co-founder Alan and one of his good friends and chef Bijou Thomas. And so all of those really just exemplify what Skratch is about. I actually was just kind of looking. I have my copy of Feed Zone Portables right here with me, and I'm looking at the cookbook and the table right now behind my desk. And I think all of those products are really great, not just for like recipe ideas, because the portable is awesome because it again speaks to the fact of like real food, like we were talking about earlier, and how to take that real food and be able to put it in your pocket. So there's tons of recipes in there, rice cakes, little egg bites, different things to just kind of try out and see whether to have like either on the bike or off the bike. I think are all great. But I think one of the cool things about all of these books is like the intro section where they're really able to tell the story and the science and be able to provide that level of education. And so all of these are great ways to just kind of take the Skratch products, because Skratch was made to be portable. It was made to be a way that can be great to take on the go itself if you don't have someone like Alan and Bijou kind of following you around with a rice cooker. But we want to definitely think, because we have this idea of scratch, of things being made from scratch, of like grandma's homemade cooking. And that's really what has been exemplified in these cookbooks. So each of them kind of have their own twist and take. But I think for those listening, I definitely think it's worth the buy of just getting those and kind of looking through them, because you have great recipes, but you'll also walk away like learning something new after you take a look through the first couple pages.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones from the Feed Zone Portables is it's rice and I can't remember everything that's in there, but it's basically rice and blueberries, and it's, I don't know why, but that speaks to me right away, and it's at the
That hits the
cleanliness of
spot.
yeah, it's got like lemon in it, I think too, and the lemon and the blueberries together. I'm no nutritionist, but it's good though. It's good.
Yeah, that sweet
And
savory for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and it's just such a great thing. So what would you recommend for people to start off with if they're just new to Skratch and everything too? And I know Josh alluded to this earlier, but what should they start with when they're riding their bike? Should they start with the energy bars or start with powder, or what should they do?
I would definitely say that our Skratch Sport Drink Mix is the first product that I would just start putting in your bottles, just to see if you're new, if you're someone who's only drinks water on the trainer, only drinks water on the bike. The Skratch Sport Drink Mix is going to be a great way to just kind of kickstart having something to start replacing what you're losing while on the bike. It has a little bit of carbohydrate coming from cane sugar and sweetened with real fruit, flavored with real fruit. And then it is going to have the average amount of sodium that is lost by an individual, although we do have a larger range of how much sodium you can lose, but the Skratch product is formulated to be that average. And so it's going to start by replacing at least what you may be losing. You might be losing a little bit more, and we have other products to supplement that with sodium loss. But I do think the Skratch Sport Drink Mix, that orange, that strawberry lemonade, the lemon lime, those are going to be the great products to just start with. Add a scoop to your bottle, taste it, see that if you're feeling better, see that you're feeling a little bit more energized, able to push past 45 minutes or an hour 15 on the bike. And then as you start incorporating that, then there's tons of other ways to kind of have Skratch help support you for your nutritional needs. And, you know, we're always here as a resource as well for any athletes that are wondering how to use our product or talk through different training plans.
Yeah. And what's the best way to do that? Is it call in, send an email? Yeah.
No, yeah, we
Yeah.
actually just released where you now just can email athletecare@skratchlabs.com. And if you have an in-depth question, if you want to talk to us a little bit longer, like we'll just email you back and set up a time to chat, whether that's via virtual or over the phone, or if you're just like an email girly, boily, whatever, like just let us know, reach out to us on that email and we got you covered.
You
Very
definitely
cool.
also
Very
in
cool.
with the marathon model.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that dude's a legend.
Yeah, what's his name? What's his name so we can get him out here? That
Tyler.
Tyler? Okay, all right. Shout out to Tyler.
Yeah, we,
Oh my
we all
gosh.
we all are Tyler fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah, and he's probably got that blown up at his house probably too, right? Yeah, I would think. I would if I was him. But
He FaceTimed his mom on April Fool's Day.
I love that. I love that.
Props to
Oh my
you,
gosh.
Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Oh
all.
man.
We love
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. Well, this is a great way. Is there anything else that we've covered or that we should cover that we haven't yet?
No, I think it's just don't undersell the fact that like hydrating and eating food on the bike is a great way to make sure that you're fueling properly, but also a great way to practice for when you do get back outside on the bike. And definitely always have something in your bottles.
Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh. I love that idea. I don't know why I would always go out and ride my bike instead of just staying inside, because when I have been that person where this does not agree with me, I need to find a place fast. And I've definitely done that. So, oh my gosh. Hilary and Taylor, thank you so much for coming on our podcast and talking about this. And everyone can go to skratchlabs.com and you can read about their products, learn how to use them and everything. And yes, we should definitely be doing that and putting them in our bottles so we can feel better. I know I definitely can. I can tell you 100% that I get to the end of my workouts because of that. So I really appreciate that. So thank you, Hilary and Taylor, for being here. Excuse the interruption, but one more thing. Even though we aren't sponsored by Skratch Labs, and even though I would pay to be a marathon athlete, Taylor and Hilary have sent us a coupon code to get 20% off a total order at checkout. This is only available at skratchlabs.com and is good for one use per customer. It can't be combined with other offers or promotions. Use code SKRATCHWATWeekly for 20% off total order at checkout. That's SKRATCHWATWEEKLY. Thanks for listening, everybody, and back to the show. That's a perfect time to close our episode. Don't forget our Watopian Weekly Zwift Club and Discord server. Also, if you can always send us a message on the Discord server as well, and send us any questions about this too for Hilary and Taylor, and I'm sure that they can answer things too, and we can send it on to them. And also, that's a great place for recipes as well. I know I've dropped my patented gluten-free waffle mix there, which is really, really good. And those are even good to take. I take those on rides too sometimes. They've got real maple syrup in there too, so nothing artificial and everything. It's just, make sure you don't put the maple syrup on the waffle. Anyway, I've done that once and it wasn't so good. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But anyway, also, you know what they say about waffles are just pancakes with abs. Have you heard that before? That's
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Hilary. Thank you, Taylor. And thank you, Skratch Labs. Thanks for taking the time to do this. All right. And with that, we'll see y'all in Watopia.